We're back, people, and today we're going to film on the Washington Commanders defense, looking at how the Dolphins can attack them. And I think this is the best matchup the Dolphins offense has had in quite some time. Like, I feel like they could easily take advantage and match up very well. Now, it is a little bit different because Jack Del Rio did get fired, so they're facing Ron Rivera who's running the defense. It should still be fairly similar. It's just they do have will have maybe a slightly different look. Versus the Cowboys, though, they ran a lot of cover one early on, and then rotated cover four, cover six later on in the game, trying to be effective. You look at their interior defense, which is very strong. That's where they're at their best. Their secondary isn't great. I feel like the Waddle and Hill should have a field day, and then they struggle to set the edges. I think Mostert and Achane on toss plays, things like that, should have the biggest day they've had in quite some time in that area, just because they really struggle to set those edges. But cover one, playing with depth, they're scared. I feel like Dolphins could be taking throws like this all day long. I feel like this play is a pretty good example of seeing what the Dolphins can do. Sort of like motioning across. They play cover one, and this guy follows, and they don't switch. So you can see like how their game plan versus that type of thing. Dolphins haven't been doing like the full motion across type thing a whole ton, especially recently. But I feel like you could see this in this game because they do get illegal contact here. But if this is the Dolphins receivers, I feel like you see a lot of space, especially like look at all this space that there is to work with. This receiver could break to the inside more likely. This guy, say, works across the middle, pulls the safety with all that room to work with. Time in the pocket. They end up getting the illegal contact because the DBs, had to get hands all over it on these receivers. But the DBs are a lot, used to playing a lot of man coverage, but it's not, something they're very good at. But then they're also not used to playing a ton of zone, and they struggle a lot in that area too. Then they start going, to some quarters looks, especially like after like some like more obvious passing situations. The Commanders clearly wanted to stop the run early on, play more single high. I think, versus the Dolphins, it's tough to pick your poison. I feel like the Dolphins could run all over the Commanders' defense if they're in split field constantly. But if they're playing, single post high safety, then the Dolphins, usually that's where they absolutely pick, defenses apart. They've really only struggled versus cover two, and I didn't see a ton of cover two on the film. But here in quarters, basically just gives you a one-on-one down matchup at the bottom, and I feel like the Dolphins could definitely take some deep shots. Dak missed CeeDee Lamb on this one, but these opportunities are definitely here. There's a lot of space to take advantage, and really the only way I don't see the Dolphins offense really just like dominating this defense is if it's like a really bad weather day. Plays to the edge. Here's a nice toss play to Pollard. I don't know what their ends are doing. Like, you give the Dolphins this much space, especially when they're running crack toss. Like, if their edges are purposely just taking themselves out of the play, he just knifes to the inside. No one's looping around. Look at the linebacker. Usually when a edge knifes down like this, the linebacker has to replace and scrape to the outside. Here he shoots down. They have some poor gap discipline, and they take that out to the edge. Can they get that worked in a week? I mean, maybe, probably not though. And you could see the Dolphins running backs have a really good day. It was just free yards for Pollard, a free 9 yards, no one there to even hit him until he's like 8 yards down the field. Another example of the toss play out to the edge, this time out of shotgun. Another thing the Dolphins like to do. So much space to work with. You pick up 14 yards. They just block this up really well. Like, this guy drops out into space. Like, I just don't know what their guys are doing. There's easy cutoffs just based on their alignments here. They're like, they have a 1 and then 2-4 tech, or they have a 0 and 2-4 techs, which gives a pretty good natural leverage advantage. And this guy still gets cut off by the right guard, which is insane. And then the linebackers just give up a bunch of space and gives Pollard so many yards to work with. Another toss play, this time 2nd and 3 situation. Washington comes out in quarter, so split field look, and they just get more yards to work with. This edge player tries to shoot up field, get to the inside. This is a pretty good example of what you would see from the Dolphins doing. More of a crack toss with receiver, tight alignment. You can just get hands on him, takes himself out of the way. Everyone else pulls out into space, and their running back has all that room to work with, picking up a lot of chunk gains. I feel like the Dolphins will be attempting to run this a lot, and also I think they're going to expect, Washington to turn on the field, see that they struggle with this a lot. Also, the Dolphins offense is very good at it. Really hard commit to stop it, and then start running, some like wind back tosses, things like that, really to attack the middle, even though that's not what you want to do a ton versus Washington, but I think you got to show it. Here's Washington in cover 3. This safety rotates to middle of the field. Pretty, normal thing you can see the Dolphins doing, like a quick play action that, they get out of it quickly, don't even like show the play action. It looks like he's going to fake it, but then he just sees that he likes all this space to work with. Just read the quick linebacker. The safety rotates single high. Washington will run a mix of coverages. Like they'll run, cover 1, cover 3, quarters, cover 6, probably show some cover 2 versus the Dolphins as well. Everything back there, but as long as like if they're not consistently running cover 2, the Dolphins passing game should really, really thrive. Here's one of the touchdowns they gave up. Cover 1, not a concept the Dolphins necessarily run, but they'll have some, like, they don't usually run like the rollout throwback to the receiver like that, but you could see like them how they could attack the middle of the field. Like even with he's doubled like this over the top, he's able to attack the inside, stack, peek to the outside here, which commits the safety too and the corner, and he just creates so much space. Like you can just see all of the opportunities that the Dolphins offense can potentially have versus that secondary. They did have, a nice touchdown run, 7 yards here from Pollard on some, inside zone. It's not like they're invincible in the middle. It's just they're so bad off the edges that's where teams attack a lot. And they do a really good job here, actually. The Cowboys offensive line, it basically just gives Pollard a one-on-one with this safety. They, double up here. 73 is able to get up to the next level, cut off the linebacker. Gives this safety has to fill this hole, press out just long enough, and then get down, get vertical. Not the best run support defense there. 3rd and 6 situation, Washington goes back to cover 1, trying to play some man-to-man, and CeeDee Lamb just makes this guy look silly. This guy's had a lot of struggles this season. Benjamin St-Juste trying not to get beat over the top where he was, got stacked earlier a couple times by CD, so he plays up high upfield shoulder. CD just breaks back right at the sticks and then also makes him miss as well out in space. I just feel like Tyreek Hill and Waddle should have really, really good days. I'll show another one of these, another toss play out to the edge. They motion Lamb across as like a lead blocker. Definitely something similar the Dolphins have done. You just pick up a nice 6 yards out there. It's not even blocked up perfectly this time. The linebacker plays it a little bit better if, someone's able to cut him off. There's even a bigger chance, but it still picks up like 6 yards on this play. Even when things don't end up, you leave a linebacker unblocked, it still picks up a nice 6. Like they really struggle on the edge of that defense to set it. They, do some crack toss on that guy again, and they're still not able to, make a play. Last play that I want to break down, this is 3rd and 1. This is the CeeDee Lamb touchdown. They played cover 1 again, so it's like they don't go away from cover 1. Even like they ran a lot early, but then tried going back to it after other stuff wasn't working because that's where their DBs are most comfortable. But you really can't run cover 1 versus some top teams like this, and Dolphins have eaten up cover 1 all year long, and I expect that to continue if they still try to go to it, which with Ron Rivera, defensive coordinator, he might just be like, hey, we're not even going to run that at all. So they could change it up, but I just don't think they'll do a big change because even if they try to, they could still, attack this defense. Not the most talented unit back there, and you can just see, motion him across, getting him, a head start, one-on-one in space, tries to get physical, all that separation created. Hit him on, the timing outbreaker. These types of plays were open all day long. So I want to see the Dolphins offense really kind of return to form in this game. Like they've been looking better. They've been moving the ball well. They've just had certain struggles, very situational struggles to finish. And I just want to see them absolutely, blow a defense out again like they were doing earlier on. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, once again, peace.